Imagine leading a nation torn apart by decades of hatred, where the wounds of oppression run deep. Would you seek revenge or dare to forgive? This is the story of how I, Nelson Mandela, championed the Truth and Reconciliation Commissioner radical experiment to heal South Africa by facing its painful past. My beloved people, I carry in my heart a story of healing born from the ashes of apartheid's cruelty. When I became South Africa's first black president in 1994, our nation stood on the edge of a knife divided by race, scarred by violence, yet yearning for unity. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission, or TRC, was my vision to mend those wounds, not with vengeance, but with truth and forgiveness. This is the tale of how we faced our past, from its hopeful start in 1995 to its bittersweet close in 1998, a journey that taught us the power of compassion in rebuilding a nation. When I walked free from prison in 1990, after 27 years, I saw a South Africa bleeding from its history. Apartheid had stripped millions of dignity, black families forced into townships, homes bulldozed, lives ended by police bullets. The Sharpeville Massacre of 1960, the Soweto Uprising of 1976, these were not just events, but open wounds in our collective soul. As president in 1994, I faced a daunting truth. Victory over apartheid was not enough. Without healing, our new democracy could collapse into revenge and chaos. I knew we could not erase the past, nor should we, but how do you unite a nation where victims and oppressors must live side by side? I believed in Ubuntu's idea that our humanity is shared. Revenge would only deepen hatred. Instead, we needed a way to face the truth, to hear each other's pain, and to find a path forward. This conviction led to the creation of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, a bold step to confront our history without spilling more blood. In 1995, after months of debate, Parliament passed the Promotion of National Unity and Reconciliation Act, establishing the TRC. I entrusted its leadership to Archbishop Desmond Tutu, a man of compassion and moral strength, and Dr. Alex Boraine, his deputy. The TRC mission was unlike any court. It was not to punish, but to uncover the truth about human rights abuse. Is from 1960 to 1994. Victims would tell their stories, perpetrators could confess for a chance at amnesty, and together we would lay bare apartheid's horrors. The TRC began its work in December 1995 with 3 committees, one for human rights violations, one for amnesty, and one for reparation and rehabilitation. Public hearings were held across South African town halls, churches, and community centers. I wanted these stories heard, not hidden in courtrooms. The world watched, and so did we, as our nation began to speak its pain. The first hearings were raw, wrenching. Victims stepped forward, mothers who lost sons, activists tortured in cells, families shattered by disappearances. I listened, my heart heavy, as people like Nomond Kalota wept, recounting how her husband was killed by police. Their stories were not just testimony, they were a cry for dignity, a demand to be seen. The nation watched on television, some for the first time confronting the depth of apartheid's cruelty. Perpetrators came to police officers, soldiers, even death squad members. Men like Eugene de Kock, nicknamed Prime Evil, confessed to murders and bombings. Some sought amnesty, admitting their crimes in chilling detail. Others showed no remorse, and I felt the anger of our people rise. The TRC offered amnesty only to those who fully confessed and proved their acts were politically motivated. It was a painful bargain justice for truth, but I believed it was the only way to avoid a cycle of retribution. The hearings held from 1996 to 1998 were a mirror to our soul. They exposed horrors, the torture in Vlakplaas, the bombings of innocent civilians, the betrayal of neighbors. Yet they also showed moments of grace, victims forgiving those who harmed them, like the family of Steve Biko, whose courage inspired me. Archbishop Tutu often wept, calling the process restorative justice. It was messy, imperfect, but it gave voice to the silenced. The TRC was not without critics, and I felt their weight. Some of my ANC comrades, including Winnie, argued it let murderers walk free. Victims' families, like those of the Craddock Four, felt betrayed when killers gained amnesty without full accountability. I understood their pain. How could I not, having lost years to the same system? Yet, I saw no other path to peace. Trials would have torn us apart. Forgiveness, however hard, offered hope. White South Africans were divided too. Some embraced the process, confessing or listening with humility. Others denied their role, claiming ignorance of apartheid's crimes. The National Party, once my jailers, criticized the TRC as a witch hunt. I urged patience, knowing change takes time. The TRC also faced practical hurdle, over 7,000 amnesty applications, thousands of victim testimonies, and limited funds for reparations. I pushed for support, but the government's slow response frustrated many. By October 1998, the TRC delivered its final report to me at Pretoria's Union Buildings. It documented over 20,000 cases of human rights violations, naming perpetrators and recommending reparations. It was a painful archive, but a necessary one. The Amnesty Committee granted about 1,500 amnesties, denying thousands more. Reparations, though modest, began reaching victims. Though I wished we could have done more, the TRC did not erase our pain, nor did it fully heal our divides. But it gave us a foundation, a shared truth to build upon. It showed the world that a nation could face its past without vengeance. I saw hope in the tears of victims heard, in the confessions that broke silence, in the small steps toward Ubuntu. My journey with the Truth and Reconciliation Commission began in 1995 as a dream to heal a fractured South Africa, unfolded through raw, painful hearings, and ended in 1998 with a truth that said it. On a path to unity, it was a choice to choose forgiveness over revenge, to listen rather than judge. This chapter of my life teaches you that healing begins with truth, however hard it is to hear. I chose to face our past, not to bury it, believing that only through honesty could we rebuild. Let my story inspire you. When division threatens, dare to listen, to forgive, and to build a future where every voice matters. That is the legacy of our truth, and it lives in you.